Hey everybody, my name is Chris. I'm in a car. It's Car Chat with Chris. It's a rainy day, very rainy, heavy cloud cover, a lot of rain. I got a little puppy. She's here, ready to get a little pup cup. And on my way to Dutch Bros. Hold on, I gotta get the. On my way to Dutch Bros to get the drink. And yeah, I was here to talk with you guys. So how are you guys doing? Let me hear down down in below, if you don't mind. Kind of tell me in the comments like how you're doing, what you guys are up to, what's the weather like where you guys are at, where are you? Don't put anything too personal in there, but I would love to kind of get to know you a little bit better, and or at least hear what's going on with you guys. It is cold here today, and rainy. It is, according to the temperature, it's 42 degrees outside. The mountains are completely covered in clouds. You can't see them at all. Like no mountains, you can't see them. And maybe with luck, it's snowing on the mountains. But it's probably just raining, which is not good. You want the snow. So I hope it's cold enough in the mountains for it to snow, but I don't think it is. So that was, speaking, I know I talk about mountains a lot, but I love them. When I moved to Philadelphia, I lived in Maine. So you guys hear a little history about me. I lived in Maine for a while, Poland Springs, Maine. I lived in Philadelphia, Levittown, for a while. And it was really odd to me because it was so, like, Maine was so green. And you're driving down a road and there's like basically no shoulder on the road. It's just forest. And like you couldn't see through, you're trying to see, you couldn't see through, just green trees everywhere. And that was also like when in Philadelphia, it's just interstate, right? You get on the interstate and take the toll road up to like New York and then back. I'd go through New Jersey. And then like sometimes in New Jersey, you get lots of trees. A lot of trees. Very disorienting to me because I was used to seeing like a mountain, like a tall point to look for directions. And you couldn't see anything like that at all. When I worked in Philadelphia, I was working in Philadelphia, and after about, I don't know, after a little while, I got like a promotion, and then my territory became Brooklyn area. And so I had a company car. I worked for the Nielsen television ratings, you know, like the company tells you how many millions of people watch a show. They gave me a company car, and even though I was living in Philadelphia, I'd have to travel up to New York about 3 days a week. And then the other 2 days a week, I worked out of my, this is a long time ago, but still back then I was work from home. And so I would work from home for 2 days, and then I'd go up to Brooklyn. I had a company car, and because I had a company car, they wanted you to take the company car. So there is like trains, you can take a train from Philadelphia up to New York and all that stuff, but they're like, nope, we're paying for this company car, you have to take a company car. So I would drive up and down that toll road all the time. And it was about a 2-hour drive to work. So you drive about 2 hours, get up there and work, and then drive about 2 hours back. I had a friend up there, and he had an apartment in Brooklyn. So sometimes I would just, if I was staying super late, I would just crash there at his place. It's easier. But yeah, I just got used to driving. So sometimes, for me, that was just, and it was normal. A lot of people have those long commutes like that. So when I hear people like sometimes complain about their commute, they're like, I got a 20-minute commute or a 30-minute commute. Yeah, it's not great, but it's not 2 hours. 2 hours was really long. So yeah, and then after that, they transferred me. I was in charge of Utah. I got transferred to the West, got promotion again, and was transferred to the Western United States for Nielsen ratings. I was in charge of Utah, California, parts of Nevada, and it was actually Southern California. So Southern California, parts of Nevada, like through Las Vegas up into Utah, that was my territory. And I would tell, you know, it was interesting because like we would tell people how many millions of people were watching the show. And if we said like, oh, your show is very popular, lots of people watching it, then the networks like ABC would be like, yeah, these ratings are absolutely great, they're 100%. But if we would say something like, oh, your show it's not pulling in a large audience, then all of a sudden, like ABC would be like, oh, your data sampling's flawed. It was our fault. It was never their fault. So I was having to have those fun conversations. So yeah, good times with that. Yeah, that was like kind of right out of college, one of my first jobs. It was a good job. I guess we're talking about jobs today. So then after that, I kind of went in and started working for companies. I was working like, it was called RFPs, request for proposals. Companies would send in these things, and I would write the request for proposal for them. For this, a different company. And then I ended up going back, and I went back and got my master's degree, and that kind of helped. After that, I was hired by ADP, and I was hired to do all their technical training. And so when I say ADP, a lot of people hear ADT. They think it's the company that does home security. It's not that. It was ADP. They do payroll. Like 1 out of 6 people in the United States gets their paycheck through a company called ADP. And I actually really liked it. I worked really hard there, and I felt like it was a good company that I felt like it promoted you if you were a hard worker. And I was a hard worker. I don't fear working hard. I know that some people they want to just put in the time and then to go. I found the best way for me to advance my career is, you know how they say you have to go the extra mile, right? Go the extra mile, go the extra mile. You ever heard that saying? Go the extra mile. Really, what I determined, it's not the extra mile, it's go the extra 15 feet. Because the majority of workers, they just put in exactly what they have to put in, and then they stop. So if you're willing to go 15 feet further, you're ahead of almost everybody. So you put in a little bit more. You just work a little bit harder than everybody else. And then it pushes you so far ahead of everybody else. And one of the things I would do when I would have my interviews, this is just my personal philosophy on this, but when I would go in and have my one-on-ones with my boss and everything, I'd always ask for more response. I said, tell me what else you need me to do. How can I lighten your load? That's what I always ask them. Like, how can I make it easier for you? How can I lighten your load? And just try to accumulate more responsibility to make myself more valuable. And I also tell my boss, I said, nothing's beneath me. If you want me to clean the bathrooms or empty trash, I'll do it. I'll be happy to do it. They always would laugh. But then I could tell, they're like, wait, is he serious? I think he's serious. And I actually was serious. So I'd always ask my boss, like, what can I do to lighten your load? And bosses love that stuff. And so that's how you that's part of, it's playing a game, right? I hate to say it, but in order to kind of get promoted, the person who's doing the promoting, they have to kind of like you as a person, and they have to see that you're doing good work, and they have to justify the cost for promoting you. So there's some people who just think that their work, this sounds sad. There are people out there who are really hard workers, but they want their work to be 100% the reason that they're going to get promoted. But if they don't have the communication skills, or they're not friendly enough, or they're worried, the boss is worried if they put them in front of a client that they might, be a little bit odd. Hang on a second.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
All right.
Drinking, my friend.
My wife wants a sugar-free caramel Americano.
You got it. Hot or iced today?
Iced medium.
You got it. Medium ice, sugar-free.
I'm sorry, you do a small.
Small
Yeah.
ice, sugar-free caramel Americano.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna go the old school.
You got some options there, huh?
I got some options. Oh, let's do this one. I haven't done this one in a while. Snickers, extra sweet, white coffee, light ice, breve, cinnamon sprinks.
You got it. Snickers.
Medium iced, yeah. Snickers.
Okay, awesome.
Extra sweet.
Extra sweet.
White coffee.
And cinnamon sprinkles on top.
Breve. Yep.
Breve. You got it with cinnamon sprinkles and white coffee. Perfect. Awesome.
Cinnamon sprinks.
Awesome. Anything else for you?
All right. So, anyways, it's raining, and I feel bad. They're out there in the rain, so they've got like little iPad things, and they're like wiping them down and doing it. And I'm like, "Are you doing okay?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like I think they do them in shifts of 15 or so. So they go out for 15, and they go inside and warm up, and then another person comes out. But yeah. Anyways, so that's the kind of the thing about being promoted, is that you have to kind of make your boss like you, and that stems all. I learned that skill actually all the way down into like high school. So my mom was a teacher. And my mom told me, she's like, don't ever talk while the teacher's talking. Teachers hate that. They hate it. She's like, now you're gonna get time to talk afterwards. Like the teacher will sit down, then you can kind of chat with your friends. But when the teacher's talking, you need to be listening. And she's like, the other thing is make sure the teachers know your name. This is really important. The teachers have to know who you are. And you have to kind of realize that when you're going to school, it is like a game, right? It's so objective. Subjective. Like you write an essay and a teacher looks at it. Really, if you really think about it, how can they determine if one essay's an A and one's a B and one's a C? A teacher might give a student a C, but that student might have spent hours on it, and that's the best that they could come up with. That should be an A, right? And there's another person who maybe got an A on their essay, and they whip it out in 5 minutes because it's just easy for them. The workload's not the same. And grading is really, I feel like, is kind of subjective, and I have a whole thing on that. But because I feel like sometimes students that are smart or good, they don't know, they think they're dumb because they get a bad grade. And I really advocate I want kids to know that they're smart. So anyways, my mom always says, make sure the teachers know your name. And so I learned that skill, and teachers didn't learn your name, and they liked me, and I would joke around with them and get to know them. And it benefits that, right? So if you're at a B plus or an A minus, right in the cusp, and they like you, they're going to bump you up to the A minus, right? They're gonna give you that benefit of the doubt. If they don't like you, they're like, this guy makes my life awful. Then they're gonna drop you down. They're gonna give you that B plus grade or whatever. And I mean, we like to think that teachers don't do that, but they do. That's just, it's human nature, right? It's a bias. They don't realize that. Excuse me. And that's what happens also with your boss at work. The employees that they like more tend to get more opportunities. And so you want to make sure that, I learned that, you make sure that your boss kind of likes you and thinks that you're dependable. And that's kind of how you get promoted. Here's the other hack that I get. So I had this guy, his name was Brad, and I was young, I was in my 20s. Brad was, I think, in his 50s at the time. He'd been around the block, and I think he was a pretty successful guy, and he was my boss at one point. And he kind of took me under his wing, and he taught me, he's like, this is what you need to know to be successful in business. And I appreciated this. This guy, I loved him, because he really was, he was just like brass tacks, to tell you the truth. Here we go, get our drinks. Hi guys! What's up?
How are you?
I am well, how are you doing?
I'm just
Woo! Pop cup. Look at that. Little Cabo. Good girl. Okay. Snickers breve. Oh, I love it. Can I get a straw, please? On the Americano, can you put a topper?
You want a straw for this?
Yes. I want you guys to know you're all the best. I love each and every one of you. Have a good weekend, guys.
Okay, we'll
Take
be
care.
safe.
All
Have
right.
a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye, Chris.
Bye, guys. So, they're just slammed. So they're working really hard. So I had to yelling at them. I appreciate them so much they work hard, right? Anyways, so Brad told me this. And I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on this, because you guys might disagree with this. But he says, Chris, he's like, it's very important to understand that in the old times, you would get hired by a company and you would stay with that company for your life. And they would take care of you. You get a pension, all that. Ugh, that is so good. That is so good. Oh my goodness. This is so good. I love reading comments, because I read the comments. I see people say, oh, I got a Dutch here, trying this. I love hearing you guys, your experiences with that. I love it. And I love the fact that I can actually read a lot of your comments, because on Promise Park Pass, it gets overwhelming sometimes, right? But I feel like here on our channel, we can interact. But if the channel grows, we'll just keep going along with it the best we can. Anyways, Brad told me, he's like, He's like, that's not how business works anymore, Chris. He goes, you stay at a company 3 to 5 years. He goes, and every year you're going to get a pay increase, maybe 3%, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Maybe if it's a good year, you might get 5%. He goes, but in 3 or 5 years, when you go to a new company, that's when your salary is going to jump between 10 to 15%. He goes, you're not going to go to another company if your salary's not jumping that high. And he goes, then you work for them for 3 to 5 years, and then you go again to another company, and your salary will jump up again, double digits. He goes, that's how you keep increasing your worth and making you and keep getting promoted within companies. And that's exactly what I did. And he was right. It was amazing. That's how it worked. And I went from A to P. I went to from there Alpha Graphics and Advanced MD to Prosper Healthcare Lending to Progressive Leasing to Job Nimbus, all these other companies, and they would just keep bringing me up. And so, anyways, I don't really know what else to say. Just I want you guys to have a happy, wonderful weekend. I'll probably make a video tomorrow. And you guys are great. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.